Do my best. Oh, we're live. So let me go in and get the show ready.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm just not.
In case you get the ants in your pants, we can move move location.
That's funny. You're funny. You're funny. I like that. That was
All
very good.
right.
That was a very delightful joke. I like that. Oh my God.
All right. What's happening there, Todd?
It's my brain. My brain is no longer functioning. Okay, I'm
That's
gonna get it
perfectly
together right here.
normal. That's perfectly normal for
I
nowadays.
know, isn't it? I'm really believing that it's just a normal thing now with the memory and you know.
This is exactly what I was just thinking to talk about today.
Yes, let's talk about it. So
About the new state of being that people are not quite
yes,
understanding, but it's so common that it
you
cannot be a
see
coincidence.
here. Let me greet a few people.
Okay.
We got 19 people in the house. Yes. So I want to say a couple things. I'm getting shivers and chills. Okay.
Ooh.
So we got Nasia Ivania, who's going to be on in uh, tonight in a couple hours.
Sometime.
Uh, who else is here? Wendy Kirkwood from Queensland. Mary Cooper. God, Mary
Nice.
Cooper, you're. I'm honoring you. You're here every show. Thank you for your love and support. Amber
Thank you.
Stanley, Stephen Kerr, Stephen Mayer, my friend from Australia, who one day I will meet
Hi,
once I get my
Amber.
passport worked out. Uh, Cleo Ferraro, Brendan RB, Karen Starr, Susie Jones, Susan Marie. She makes a comment. She was on a couple days ago. It was a fabulous show. No active memory when we are in the higher realms. Lots of love.
Right. That's
Trish
right.
Riley, Susie Byler's in the house.
Yay, Susie.
Yeah.
Hi.
You know, she interviewed me and Morgan. And, she did a great job. I went back and watched it. I don't usually watch it, but Morgan's like, you got to watch that.
Very
She's
nice.
good. Susie's really good. Misty Macara. And I think I got everybody so far. 22 people in the house. If these shows resonate with you, please share. Uh, as we ramp up, this Facebook tends to suppress our notifications, as you can
Right.
tell. Normally we'd have 50 people in here. But yeah, if you guys could just share it a little bit, that would help us stay above the algorithms until we can make the break to our own independent site,
Nice. All
which
right.
we're working on. I've been saying it for 2 years,
Whew.
but that's how it goes. We're not linear. So I want to welcome back Isabella Greene to Soul Speaks 5D. Thank you for sharing space with us and honoring us with your presence again. Yeah. Mhm.
Oh, my pleasure, Todd. I had so much fun and enjoyed our first talk so much. When I heard back that we're going to do another one, I was absolutely thrilled. So I'm totally
Yeah.
excited about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me
Thank
too.
you.
And yeah, thank you. And I was going to say, I meant to bring this up on the last show with
Hmm.
Greene because she had some really, really unique intel. She was in Greece and it was a great show. And that is that something I've noticed something over the last, I want to say week. I really noticed it since Morgan's been gone. So she's been gone a week, something
Mm.
like that. And what I've noticed is that I have more
Oh,
recall
just
from
froze.
who did? Oh, that's on your end. That's you froze. She thinks I froze, but I think
Okay,
she
I can
froze.
hear you. Oh,
It's
oh,
your
we're back. Yep.
yeah. It was on your end.
Oh my God.
It's okay. It's the energy. Well, you know what I was going to say is that I'm having more recall from lucid dreaming, and
Yep.
it's making sense. And the other thing is, I'm very active in the ethers, which
Yep.
I've always known that, but again, it's almost like it's on the tip of my mind's tongue. I can almost say it or see it or feel it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that's happening is everyone that's coming on the show, I'm meeting with in dream state.
Uh-huh.
And like right now, you just said, I said you said, what do you want to talk about? And I said, I don't know. Let's just play by ear. And then I said, I can't remember anything. I don't know what to
Right.
do. And you said, that's what I wanted to talk about. I got chills when you said that. So
I was
So
tuning in a moment ago before we started, and so I got dream time, and I got discussing the weird symptoms that are so universal now, all everywhere. People are experiencing the same exact thing, but because they're not talking about it, thinking that it's an isolated phenomenon, something wrong with
yeah,
them, they don't
yeah,
even know that. Well, a lot of us know, but then again, there are a lot of people who are not realizing that this is just the new era and a new state of being, and we're just learning to be that new human dealing with the energies and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
So
give
right
you an
on.
example. Morgan did all the scheduling,
Mm-hmm.
and she left the calendar here, and we have like 78 shows this month, which is great. Keeps me
Wow.
busy. But I
Whew.
also missed a couple of days right before she left because I just couldn't do it. I got
Yeah.
burnt out. I was
Yeah.
feeling sick. I was
Yeah.
sick that she was leaving, whatever. And people
Mm-hmm.
understood. So there's like 6 or 7 people I've got to get back with. I've sent notes. Some have responded. I can't even attend to that. I can't even attend to the only thing I can attend to is put up the post and get on the show.
Stop!
That's
You're telling me about my life right now.
yeah, right.
It's
But you know
exactly
what I
the
mean?
same thing. Oh my
And
God!
and,
Stop!
and I'm
Yeah.
not going to judge. Yeah, right. I'm not going to judge myself. Uh, I'm going to respect that this is all I can do, and lay down. I can't even hardly cook. I go up the street to the store and I get for $5. I get a little plate lunch. Right?
Oh my God! I so hear you because I recently looked at my schedule and I realized that every single hour of every single day until about May is already scheduled for something. And
Yeah.
during the day, I very often just go into this kind of mode, like you were just saying, like, ah!
I know, man.
I can't deal with
It's
all
like
of this.
I can't. I can't deal with people. I know that sounds horrible,
No, it doesn't sound
but
horrible. I
I
very
can't.
much I relate 100%. Why do you think I moved out here into the middle of nowhere? Because it got to be that. But then here's a 5D perspective to the whole thing, right? When I experienced it the hard way, and I'm going to share something here with you. Last spring, oh no, in the fall, something like that was happening too. And I got to the point and I started complaining about it. I was actually saying, well, I'm gonna die if this does not stop. I'm gonna die. I need an assistant. I need an assistant's assistant, and whatever else. And I can't. I'm becoming antisocial to the point that I can't even see my one friend a week that I normally see and everything.
Yeah.
So wow. But then everything just suddenly stopped. I got to the point that I could not handle, and I was complaining about it, and everything stopped. And I had nothing. I had like an empty, open space for about a month and a half to 2 months when I had no work and no action of any sort. And this is when I sat down and thought about it, and I said, no, this is not what I was asking for. I was the universe hearing us going, I can't handle it. They're like, okay, so we'll remove this from your plate. And then your plate is empty. And then you're sitting there going, oops, like there's no
Right.
work.
You can't do that.
Right.
Can't do
And so
that.
here's this
Yeah.
the 5D versus 3D. So I kind of got to think about it and recalibrate the whole approach to things. We say instead of I have to do all this, which is really heavy. It's a vibrationally heavy
Yeah.
statement. We say I get to. Oh my God, I get to talk to all these people. I get to respond
Wow.
and not respond to all these people. I get to help all these people. I get to expand. I get to bring the show online. In your case, me, I get to do all these things. So every day in the morning, I wake up now. And it's become my new practice. I wake up in the morning and I say, wow, I get to.
What do I get to do today?
No, I get to do all this and
Yeah.
have a wonderful day. And so I really, really put myself into that. I get to as an excited space. And it's rolling. But yeah, the schedule is insane, quite frankly. But it's all right.
But this is good. Okay. So I've just had a session and I'm your client, and I'm going to say, I get to reschedule the people that I missed, and I get to schedule all these tens of hundreds of people that want to be on the show. I get to
Right.
do that. I get to do that.
Well,
Yay.
you get to, here's this. You get to accommodate the ones who are waiting.
Yes.
And in my experience, 99% of people who come to me for work, and I'm sure the people who come to you for interviews are of the similar kind, they're the people who are heart-centered. And so they're not going to unleash on you like, how dare you reschedule me, right? So there is a level of understanding going, and you can say, hey, I burned out, or I'm not in alignment in the moment, or the schedule is too much. And so whatever, you can share what happened to you, and then they will, and then you just do your best to schedule them wherever there are spaces. I do this sometimes if I have to reschedule stuff too. And the interaction is very loving, I would say,
Yeah.
And I also put on my website that I'm sometimes not able to get back to someone for like 3 to 10 days, which is true. It's like I can write it on my website.
Right. I find stuff that's like weeks old, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot that one. But no, that's what I did. I wrote these 6 or 7 people, or I think that was 9 people. And I said, I'm dealing with the separation coming up with Morgan. And it hit me, and I don't feel good. I just can't do it,
Yeah.
And so they were all pretty cool. I've got a couple of terse follow-up replies, where I can tell they're gritting their teeth. Like, you said you were going to schedule me. I'm like, but here's my thing. I'm so past the self-depreciation, the self-judgment, the feelings of unworthiness, inadequacy. I'm through with all that stuff. I'm not doing that anymore.
That's what makes us jump through hoops and try to accommodate everyone and put yourself last in the least. And we're not really there any longer as a collective, I hope. And the ones who understood or doing the emotional work and I'm moving past that space, they got it already. So I had to teach myself to say to people, I'm not feeling it. When they invited me to do something, come, and I would literally straight out say, I don't feel the alignment. I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. I remember it was difficult for me to do that before because you feel like, you're going to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you're when you understand that your maximum alignment will assure the best possible outcome for both of you, right? Then when you are not in alignment, you are supposed to honor that. And that's
you have to.
Yeah.
You have to. I had some people call me actually the day that we flew out to, I flew to Honolulu with Morgan to see her off. So we spent one night there, but we were at the airport and these acquaintances contacted me and they asked me to go do something, in the physical, and had like a grid work or whatever it was. I don't know, ceremony. And I was just like, I said, I'm always open. So I tuned in, I got off the phone, I tuned in, and nothing aligned. There was nothing in alignment. Right. And I just wrote back, I said, thank you for thinking about me, but none of this resonates. I'm not in alignment with this.
And you will see that this gets more and more so to the point that you can't even see, they don't find your messages and you don't find theirs. I'm seeing this very much. Like I had a mainstream network contact me by email. And they said, we're considering featuring you as a part of our Empowered Women series. I was surprised. I never heard of that network. I went and I looked it up and I saw the people with, heavy plastic surgery and shiny teeth and mainstream people, very, very mainstream, both hosts and presenters at their show. And so I thought to myself, this is some sort of fluke, because I don't think that I could bring anything to them that they'll be interested in. And I'm definitely not a part of that group or that audience or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but they said, call, here's the number. I called, and they, like, and the crickets. Then they called back and missed me, called back and missed me. And I called back and missed them. And I just stopped. I said, I can clearly see that it was some sort of like weirdness that dropped in at the moment when I perhaps went into like a deep 3D state in my mind.
Yeah.
I had like a moment of lower frequency in myself, and that came right through. But then I'm back into my normal state, and there's no alignment. You can't even connect with these people. So because it's a completely different energetic state of being, and so connection is not possible.
Yeah. And the other, and it works the other way too, right? We had this kid on yesterday, 23 years old, beautiful kid, Tway Ka, out of New Jersey. So what happened was Morgan had scheduled him during the month, right? And so, I don't know, 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, Tway Ka wrote Morgan a message and said, I'm going through a lot of stuff right now. I can't be on the show.
Right.
So she doesn't remember it. And what happened was she sent him a video of one of the shows I did with a young man. I can't remember who it was. She has no recollection of it. Right. She goes, I never send videos to people. I might send a video to someone, say, hey, here's what Soul Speaks 5D is, but she never sent it to this guy.
Oh, that's
so that's what I'm saying. And so what happened was Tway Ka received the video as an answer in his mind. He watched the video, and the video of whoever was on there inspired him so much, he decided to make some changes, and it lit a fire in his soul. And he wrote back to her and said, what happened? He said, now I want to go on. And she said, I never sent that thing to him. So that's the kind of stuff that you're talking about.
I am sure that there are hundreds and hundreds of people perhaps listening, or they're going to listen to this, that can relate to this, because what you're describing here, in my mind, that's a timeline jump right there. Yes. So Morgan and her parallel self connected to that on that level, that she could inspire the guy through that video. His thing realigned itself. They reconnected on the previous timeline where they were in alignment, and things came back together. And so this is very, very, that's a great example of things happening in that way.
And that's what I'm referring to with this intel, or whatever, with the experience that I'm having with the dream state and the meetings with the people prior to them coming on. And last night, I was sitting here by myself for a long time, kind of meditating, just communing. And I kept getting everything that y'all feel like you need to do, light workers, way showers, everything you feel like you need to do, you've already done most of it. And I was just sat there with that for a long time. And I started to understand that energetically, we've pretty much done everything we came here to do, You know what I mean? It's like, it hasn't played out, but it will.
Yeah. Here's this. I do sessions with people, right? They reach out to me. First I interact with them by email. Then I have an interview with them. And then we have a session. I'm very often told that the work was done before we even had an interview. As they said, people tell me, as soon as I emailed you, things just rearranged themselves. Very often I hear this, that the people say, we had the session in dream time before the session. I experienced the whole thing that I just experienced again in the physical. So I hear that a lot too. Yeah. I think that because the physical matter is so slow.
Yes.
The physical reality, the human form, the brain, our talk, and everything is so slow compared to the frequencies on which we're operating outside of this density, that it's all done. It's already done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also, if we consider parallel realities, hey, it's or the whatever quantum field of potential where everything exists already. So everything that we are just arriving at on this timeline and this linear reality somewhere else, that's already been done.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And I think that the veil, or the range of visible light, let's put it that way,
Right.
is decreasing between what we might refer to as non-physical or non-visible and the physical. That's where I think the recall's coming from the lucid dreaming, and then having that intuitive knowing that I'm meeting the people before the shows, the day before the show or something, because all this stuff is happening intuitively. Like what happened to us. That's not the first time. That's happened 5 or 6 times in the last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, it's a phenomenon. I think it's a phenomenon when we're finally able to observe that things are non-linear.
Yeah.
That we're operating on multiple timelines, that we're operating in various dimensions simultaneously, right? And all of that is feeding into our present day consciousness right here in this physical body. And I think what's happening now, the skill or the level of awareness is being developed, right? So the skill to see it, or the level of awareness to observe it and to be consciously aware of it. That's it. Before that, everything was just getting filtered out, right? Yeah. Now, as we're evolving ourselves and our frequency is higher, we have more and more access to more and more interdimensional stuff. And so we're able to see ourselves operate in many different locations at the same time.
Yeah. I can't wait to do that. Show up in Morgan's bedroom. I'll behave. No, but and here's the other thing too. I love what you're saying, because as the reality hits us, the non-linear, then all those old human discussions we had, like, why didn't you write me back, and why didn't you schedule me, or all those kind of things will go away, because we'll all have fully immersed ourselves in the reality that it's non-linear. So that'll actually translate into a smoother, knowing, telepathic relations. Yeah,
interaction with each other, definitely. And there are other things that you mentioned that I am observing now that are very common, such as relationship with time. Is very different nowadays. Are you experiencing that too?
Yes. First of all, it's the day. It's just the day. It's like tomorrow's like, I can't even go there. Like, okay. My friend, probably my closest friend besides Morgan,
right?
Okay, he helps me with Soulogy, right? He's part of Soulogy, and he wrote me this morning. I used to be a multitasking monster, but he wrote me this morning, and I'm just got to do these 4 shows today, and I got to post 4 posts. And he writes me and he says, something about this and something about that, and have a look at this. And I just said, dude, don't talk to me. I'm not like that. I was like, I can't do this. I can't. I don't want to do this. I'll see you in a couple days or something like that. I just couldn't. So that, to me, but that's a time thing for me, or a lack of time thing. It's like I can only focus on this space right here.
I think I was thinking about this exactly earlier this morning, because there is this project that I've been lingering on for a good couple of months now. And it's a project that I want. It's my own TV channel.
Yeah.
But I don't have the focus. I observe that for anything to really come out in the right way, to feel like it's the right action and it's an inspired action, it's the right action at the right moment, we have to be in alignment with it. To be in alignment with it, we have to give it full focus.
Yeah.
Like all energy is directed into that project, in that, or that interview, or that session, or whatever it is that you're doing. In that case, all of the parts of you are supporting that, right? But when you're all over the place, that neither one receives any. And so we feel scattered and we feel like we don't have resources for it. I very much can align to that, because this lady is telling me, oh, I live next door. Why don't you just come over for an hour? But I feel that I don't, and record, right, in her studio. But I have no resources for focusing on that at this time.
That's right. Come back. Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah, you're back. Yeah, no,
I
right.
I got the workshops, I got the festival, I got the presentations, I got clients. I have my own videos that I'm doing, and everything. It feels like it takes a part of you. We're not creating from the 3D brain anymore. We're creating from soul space.
Yeah, it's like it's weird. It's
Different
weird.
State of being, for sure. I agree. I can relate very much, because I used to be a multitasking monster 12 hours a day. And the amount of stuff that I could do in a day was not human from my perspective right now. Right now, it's a direct focus, full focus, and then full focus to the next thing, not like piling stuff one on top of the other.
One thing at a time, right?
Yeah, you too?
Like, I can't. Yeah, we had a meeting the other night, me and him, and it was like the first time we resurrected after a few weeks of getting the site up, right?
Right.
So I said, okay, make a list. So list number one was turn on this automated calendar. Right? The second thing was make an appointment with the streaming company. And the third thing was something else. And I said, that's all I can do. Right. That's all we can do right now until we meet again. Yeah. So it was like, that took a lot, but you're right. It takes something else. It's not like a 3D thing, because my background was like yours, corporate, real strong corporate, senior exec, many, offices and responsibilities. And I could juggle all that.
Yeah.
But I could not do that today. And I know what you're saying too, you can't force anything.
Right.
In this energy, nothing's forced.
Exactly. I think that we worked so hard to tune into the heart guidance and the mind guidance to be connected, right? Heart, mind guidance is connected. You're plugged into your purpose or your natural flow, right? Mm-hmm. When you operate from that space, it's a very different way of dealing with the reality and to-do lists and all of that. And I'm actually quite excited to hear that you were experiencing the same thing, because I am, in this case, I'm the example thinking, hey, something wrong with me. I lost my multitasking. I still do a ton of things per day, but it all requires specific feeling, a specific state of focus for it to feel right and for us to have the inspiration to do it. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah. And that's what I usually do. What I usually do is I'll knock out a bunch of work, and then it's just like you're treading water, just trying not to drown the next 2 or 3 weeks.
And then knock yourself out. I actually take a silent day at the end of my work week, which is not that long from the normal person's perspective, but at the end of each work week, I take a day of silence, and that reboots me completely. Meaning I don't interact with any people. I don't talk with any people. It's like my resources come back in that way, and then I'm able to interact again.
That's a good thing. We're going to go to automated calendar for April, and I'm not scheduling anything on Tuesdays. I've decided I'm not going to do. So maybe I'll try that, because I've noticed what I've been doing too since Morgan's gone. Whenever, like when I have to leave. Like I have to get out of here. Like I'll do 4 shows today, and after the 4th show, I'm out the door, and I leave my phone. And I've never done that before. I leave my phone here. I don't take it with me, and I just go do whatever pops up.
Because I think that's a reset state. I very much relate to that, because once again, I have those moments regularly, and definitely once a week I have a shutdown day where I don't go, or just turn off all social media. My phone is off, my internet is off, and I am basically reconnecting with that flow. You're reconnecting with that energy of your own self and your own heart. Perhaps when Morgan is there, I'm thinking that she's able to have that energy exchange with you that sustains you, assists you to have your resources. But when you're by yourself, it sounds like you need to replenish your resources on your own from not having to give out any more resources or any more energy or any more focus, so you can pull all of that back into yourself and restart
that's
yourself.
True. Yeah, because we'll go walk 4 or 5 times a day. We'll go walk, we'll go down to the park, and that's what we're doing. Basically, we're just resetting. And sometimes we'll talk, and sometimes we just sit there and don't say anything. So you're right.
And so about the time, right? About the different experience of time. As we were waiting to start the show, I think I just experienced the longest 2 minutes in my life, because it felt like it was 2 hours, and I kept looking at that clock going, wow, it hasn't even been a minute, right? And so sometimes some days are extremely long, and some hours are extremely long, and some hours are very short. And have you lost the inner clock, like, or when used to know time, but now you can be anytime, right?
Yeah, we're just alike, I swear. Yeah. See, I always had this ability to wake up in the morning, and I could look outside, or just by the light or whatever, I know what time it is. So the last few days, I can't do it.
Inside, when you're not able to look outside, you have the inner clock. Generally, people do. I used to have that I knew what time it was almost to the T. And now, not only that I can no longer tell time, sometimes I don't even know which day I'm in. And it's not that. And it's not that we are. It literally feels like, let's say, it feels like Friday, and I'm convinced that it's Friday. And I'm calling people from Friday on my calendar, and then they're like, you know what? It's Wednesday. Oops. But it's not that we're like. I think that we're experiencing the same exact phenomenon.
Yeah.
And for some people, that would be, whoa, this is not an upgrade. This is way too weird, right?
Yeah.
But if you look at it from the higher dimensional perspective, we're losing that structure that was imposed onto us through 3D reality, through linearity, through all of the human mind in old energy, trying to structure things in a way that they make sense. And now everything is wobbling. Time is wobbling. Your inner clock is wobbling. We are becoming aware of the fact that time is an illusion, meaning it's a construct that does not really exist anywhere except on Earth. And we're feeling it. It's an intuitive knowledge, an intuitive knowing, right? And so people are complaining, oh, wow, I think I'm losing my mind. I cannot tell time. I don't remember things. I can only handle so much per day. I need to not talk to anyone for whatever amount of time. These are very common side effects of of what is going on Earth now, which what we know is, we're moving into the new state of being as the new human. We're moving into the new state of being as new Earth. And I think the whole human experience is just restructuring itself. And those who can understand it can kind of, have this kind of conversation without saying, yeah, something's wrong there.
No, really, it's not. It's not. It's kind of funny, but there's many times I don't even know what month it is.
I
I'll
agree
go, what
completely.
month is this? And I'll have to think about it. And sometimes I'll be 6 months off. Oh, was it June, July, or it's October? And I'm like, yeah. And then the day of the week thing, that
Yeah,
I probably use my phone. If I do one thing on my phone more than anything, it's I pull this top part down to see what day it is, what day of
right.
the week it is. I
Yeah,
honestly don't know what day of the week it is. And for
I agree.
these last 3 days, you talk about the longest 2 minutes. It was like Saturday for like 5 days. It was like the longest day of my life. I kept looking at the thing. It's still Saturday.
Oh my God, I so hear you. I cannot
Right.
tell you how much I hear you. And then, in the privacy of my own environment, I would notice all that happen and I would just laugh at it and be like, yeah, don't tell anybody. But then I would meet here, we're talking about it, or I would meet with friends who are experiencing the same thing and they'll be secretly telling me, what, this is how. I'm like, yeah, me too. And
Right.
then there are another 100 people I'm talking to. Oh, there's this, I had a session this a week, and the lady was from Europe, and she's this therapist, and the conventional doctor, and she's telling me, I'm experiencing a really strong level of brain fog. And I said, explain brain fog. She said, I just I forget things, and I'm noticing that I'm not as sharp as I used to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, you know what? This is called switching between realities all the time.
Yeah.
We're jumping so fast, and the brain as a device that registers reality is registering so many different parallel potentials of reality that it's a skill, I think, to teach us, that we need to teach ourselves now, perhaps, uh, to keep focus on where we're actually the main timeline that we want to keep focus on.
Yeah.
This is what I think.
Yeah.
But most conventional people, most mainstream people, like that example I just brought, I experiencing the same thing, and they think that they need medication, or they think that they're losing their
Yeah.
mind, they're forgetting things, or they can't,
Yeah.
or they have brain fog all of a
I
sudden.
know.
Like, I can't focus. She says, well, hello,
I
like
know.
half the world cannot focus nowadays.
Yeah, it's crazy that a couple of people are talking about they can't remember people's names.
Uh,
I'll have somebody on the show and I'll pull up the tab and if I don't have their name up there, I've had that happen. I'll forget it happened to me like a couple of days ago. And it was somebody I had on the show more than once, and it was an easy name. And I looked at her, I forget what lady it was, and I'm like, I can't remember your name. What's going on?
Well, it would be interesting if I would like look away right now and then look back and not know how I got here, right? That would be the next level. I think that's the next level.
Wow,
Like, literally, no, I'm joking, but I'm joking, but that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
But that's been happening. That's
In
always
dreams.
happened on this show. On this show, there's always been glitches, and then I'll see people morphing. I'll see the guests morphing and just different things happening, and that's increasing.
Your eyes are on. Your eyes are on. What's called your eyes are on. I think your third eye is more and more active, and so you're able to see the finer details that. And also the brain has to catch up with it. I call this multidimensional brain. So when we have that ability developed already, we're able to see the finer fibers of reality that are happening around us that normally normal 3D brain just filters that right out.
Yeah.
Here, and when that starts happening, then you're observing that, like you said, lucidity in the dreams, visions, presence, like observing the person not quite being what they seemed a minute ago. That's a very common thing. Morphing. I sometimes am looking at human person in front of me, and I'm seeing their galactic essence and shining right through. Like in the eyes, you can see the otherworldly, like a star being.
Yeah.
And I look away so that unless it's online, then when I'm not talking to that person, then I get like, oh, this is so interesting, let me stare some
Yeah,
more,
right.
figure it out. But if you're talking to that person at a store, it's a little uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so I have to look away for a moment and look right back, and boop, they're like back into their human form, kind of like Men in Black. Remember that movie?
Right. And have you seen like okay, I don't know how to explain this, but like lines,
Oh yeah,
okay, they're
yeah,
like
like
lines, and
through
yeah, like I'll be sitting
reality.
here,
Yeah,
and it's like a corner of a room. There's a
yeah,
line, and it'll buckle or bend,
right. Yep.
or and
Yeah.
That's been happening. No, that's happened before, but that's been happening a lot in the last few days.
Okay, so you can actually see that it's shown in the movie Lucy. Have you watched Lucy?
I watched Lucy. Yeah.
Remember when she's
Yeah.
looking at reality and there's strings kind of going
Yes,
through, like,
that's what it looks like.
right.
Yeah.
And so I heard that from many other people too. That
Yeah.
I remember I've seen Lucy many times, and they have a lot of really incredible phenomena that's happening now shown in that movie actually.
Yeah.
So I remember discussing that movie with people, and quite a number of people saying, "Oh, I've seen those lines before." That's a part of just seeing the grid, and that we're seeing that it's a hologram, that the whole human experience is a hologram, or it's a holographic reality, and that's a glitch. That's a glitch in the thing.
That's what I would call. That's what I would
Yeah.
say. I've been seeing glitches. That's how I would
Right.
just like.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to see that, but it's
Yeah.
glitching. It's like breaking down or something.
Yep. Yeah.
Something's breaking down.
Right. Like I actually have a video online about it. That was a couple years ago. There was a very strong shift that took place, and we're coming on to a super strong shift now with the equinox, with spring equinox. That's a very strong time of adjustment. March is supposed to be super powerful in that. By the way, have your glitches started showing more since March? Because I hear a lot of teachers saying that March is super powerful.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've gotten them throughout the 900 shows, but yeah, since the first of the month, they've really increased a lot.
Right. So there we go. Okay. So a couple of years ago, I'm driving at night, and I'm passing a resort that right here is on the right, and the sign is bright lit, and I pass that, and I'm kind of zoning out, and I'm passing it again a minute later, or like a second later, and I go, oops, like, like that black cat in the Matrix movie, whoop, and then the same thing exactly, whoop, the same exact thing. And so I'm catching myself going, whoa, I just passed that. And whoa, I just passed that again, but there's only one of them. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm in the glitchy spot right here, right? So let's pay attention. I'm starting to pay attention, and I'm looking in the rear view mirror, and there are two sets of lights. The cars just showed up. I think like they turned the corner. It was completely black before, and now there are two sets of lights coming, and looks like they're catching up with me, and I'm thinking, oh, these guys are gonna catch up with me so fast and gonna be like blaring with the lights, and then whoop, and that goes out. And as that goes out, I see two sets of lights coming this way, and they pass me, and there are no cars for the rest of the road. How about that? So it literally like it was coming from behind. I could see it in the rearview mirror, and then it just like I passed that the second time, a glitch in reality. And they're going this way and from the front, and they pass me and they're gone.
Yeah, I can say, yeah. I didn't have a car until for a long time till December. But many times when Morgan and I would be driving from one side of the island to the other, it was stuff like that was happening. And I would have to hold the wheel like this, and I would tell her, I feel like I'm in a tunnel.
Right? Yes,
And
because and it's all happening like right here. You in the center
yes,
spot. You just looking here, and everything is just like
yes,
wow. That reality is moving past you like that.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's even that way now. Like I went for a ride last night. I went down to the store about 9 o'clock, and it's like I'm in a tunnel. It's like I'm in a bubble in a tunnel.
And
That's how
reality is transparent, happening on the left and the right side of you, kind of like you're sitting in the middle of a movie that's moving on both sides of you. That
that's
I've seen
what I'm
that.
getting. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. And I'll tell you another thing that's been happening is over the last few days where I'm living, where we found a place. There's land here. There's like 3 or 4 acres, and I've always communicated with the trees and nature and stuff, but something's different. Like this land is talking to me.
Yeah,
it's talking to me. It's telling me things, and of course, it's not in English language,
right.
but I kind of understand what it's saying, and I'm like, it's so fantastic that I'm like going, okay, I'm open to that, but I'm not going to attach to that, but I'm like so sure of what it's telling me, and it's freaking me out.
We are talking about the upgrade symptoms. I used to this subject used to be a center of my focus for a number of years. I actually even started writing a book, which went nowhere because I got bored. The book was like a simple guide to human upgrade symptoms, and this thing about feeling like you were in the tunnel, that's the focus thing, like the being off focus, driving, or when you're walking, it feels like everything is wobbling around. Like you can see that reality is kind of projected, like almost like you can touch it and it will just go wah, 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 like that. Right? That kind of feeling.
Yeah.
So I think that what's happening with you is you're going through a certain level or the next level of upgrade symptoms. And this is why you need your time to yourself so that you can process that on your own without always having a conversation with someone else, so you can integrate. This is when the body needs rest and energy needs time so that it can readjust itself. And these symptoms are very strong just at the beginning of the cycle, and then usually lasts about 2 weeks, and then I think we learn to live with that, and we learn to, because human beings are very adaptable, so we learn to absorb that into our reality, and it becomes kind of normal, that, okay, so this is how I experience time now. Okay, this is how I experience. Or you teach yourself to, when you drive, and you teach yourself to keep that focus, so that whole wobbling of reality is not happening. It's a new set of skills as dealing with your vessel that's being upgraded to have this new human experience within the new energy that Earth is. The whole planet is upgraded in that way. People are going to doctors for these symptoms, but they're so across the board that, what I wrote an article in 2015 about the upgrade symptoms, and I just shared something weird like that, what that driving experience within that article. That article was like 1.5 million views.
Wow.
In a couple of months. That article went across the world, everywhere. It was translated into Turkish, which was a shock to me. It was on YouTube channel. People turned it into videos and stuff. The article was all over the place. But so a lot of people, and there were so many comments of people saying, yes, I'm feeling this. Yes, I'm feeling exactly the same thing. Yes, the time is different. The reality is different. The focus is off. We can only handle so much. All of these things. So I'm thinking that your body is adjusting to a different state of being, and you're just going to learn how to operate from that state of being, and then that becomes a norm, and then the next wave of upgrades comes, and then we deal with that, and on and on. But the intensity is usually like that thing when you like literally seeing things and the glitches and everything.
Yeah.
The intensity is usually within like about 2 weeks long, and then it kind of mellows out. So
And one thing I've noticed too is like, okay, so like I'll go because it rocks you a little bit, you know, it knocks you. You're like, oh, whoa, man, you know, and then I'll walk outside and I'll look at my phone and it'll say 11, 11, 11, or it'll say 33. So I'm noticing that the synchronicities with numbers is coming at those times where I've just experienced something, like to tell me you're on the right track.
Yes, exactly.
Because the human's going, what the hell's going on here? You know? And then I get that, and I'm understanding that's what it's telling me, that you're on the right track. Just chill out, breathe, absolutely, take a breath. You know.
Yeah. And then also, you said the nature speaks to you. As these abilities open up, and we start seeing the nature of reality and the state of being, and you experience in that multidimensional brain, or at least that's what happened to me, the relationship with nature changed as well for me. And I think it's changing for a lot of people who are experiencing this, because you can no longer perceive it as outside of yourself. You can no longer perceive it as something out there. You feel that communication, the communication that you described as a telepathic communication of consciousness that is experiencing itself through, being present here as other types of species, or incarnated into this density as other species, or even I don't know, rocks and sand and crystals and all of that has consciousness, and we are becoming more and more aware of that. We're the antennas that are interacting with that consciousness at all times.
I'll tell you what happened to me a little bit about what's happened here with this land. Like last night, it got bigger. Like the message came in stronger, and so there was one tree on the edge of this stream, and this tree is talking to me.
Yes, oh my God.
And then there's a pasture, and the pasture has like a circle in it, and I can see this, and it's dark. Right? I can see the distinction. And it's the same consciousness as the tree. And they're talking to me. And what they're talking to me about would have to be described as the past, the future, and the present, all in one. Like they're telling me things from the past, they're telling me things from the future, and I'm present with them. That's the only way I can explain it.
Well, if you take the consciousness, let's say consciousness of the tree, which is it's just a slower density. The tree body is a slower density even than the human being, but it's been here for much longer than the human being, so it has experienced and collected that energetic consciousness of whatever events from the past, and perhaps that soul or the energy of the tree came from the future. And so it has access to all of it. They also have a network within themselves. We also believe that some beings from Vega incarnate into the bodies of trees and plants. And so there's a lot going on here. But wait until this. Here's a classic example of a timeline shift. And I heard actually I was observing that in my own reality, but not telling. And then I had a workshop last year that was called Understanding Timeline Shifts. And a person told me the same exact in front of the whole group. So yeah, that's out. When you said you come out and there's a tree, let's say on the left side, right, of the yard, and or the left side of your door. And then a week later you come out and the same exact tree is on the right side of your door. That's a classic.
That actually, yeah, that would be
So you're not
and
ready
we
for that. You're not ready
I
for
don't
that. But this
no,
is
well, we had this happening to we when we were together here, things were happening to us together, right? Like we could go outside and everything started. The wind started, the animals started. I mean, we knew something's coming, right? So one night we were having a bunch of stuff happen. We were walking down this path and it turns, right?
Mhm.
And when it turned, I saw this short gray, Zeta Reticuli type.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I kept telling her, I was telling her, hey, they're here. Something's happening. She's like, no, 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 I don't want to talk about it. Let's go home. Let's go home. Well, the next day, and I didn't tell her that what I saw because I didn't I thought I was imagining. I thought, well, maybe I'm just imagining. Maybe I'm just whatever. Well, the next day, she said we were walking during the day, and she said, you know what? Last night, right there, and I said, don't tell me. You saw a little gray. She said, yes. I said, why the hell didn't you tell me? You know, I mean, I thought I was crazy, but we saw the same thing
Yeah.
at the same time. And that's
Well,
another thing that's happening. That part of it I don't get either. 2 nights before she left, we were holding each other in bed. We were whatever. And I look over my shoulder, and there's one standing on the bed, like observing us. And I'm like, what are you doing here? So this stuff's happening too. It's
well,
not just the tree. Hmm?
have you had any of the ET races work on you yet? Give you
Oh
like
yeah.
a brain upgrade and stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Well, so they're tweaking something. They're showing them. They're tweaking something, or they're observing you.
Yeah.
What I was talking about before, as far as the tree being on the left or on the right, that's a classic example of a timeline shift, where you were in one timeline where the tree was here, and then the shift happened, and you're in the same reality because the brain is filling in reality. It's a different timeline where we remember there's a tree, but it's on the other side of the yard because it placed itself in the wrong place. Yeah.
See, you saying that is triggering something in me, and it's not. I can't recall, and
Right.
it's more than one time, but it's the same conceptually. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it was a tree. But there's things are out of place,
Yeah.
right? Like in the old comic strip, they used to have the comic strip. They'd say, "Look at this picture. Look at that
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
What's out of place?"
Compare.
I've
Yeah.
had that happen to me many times.
Yeah.
Many times I've had that happen to me, and I've gone, that wasn't
Right.
there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's an example of reality that we're constantly jumping realities. We're constantly jumping timelines. You can do that by choice. You can do that, or it just happening by itself. And so the brain is becoming able to process it and show it to you. And we actually are able to
Yeah.
retain the memory that the tree is on the wrong side of the yard. Well, it's just all you have to do is say like, oh, okay, I'm in a different picture today. And is it going to stay this way tomorrow? We'll find out. That's it.
I know, man. It's like, you don't know what's. I feel, especially since March 1st, I feel. You know what? Half the time I feel split. I feel very heavy, like I feel my body feels very dense and very heavy.
Right.
But I can also feel my body, I guess would be my light body, outside of my body,
Right.
and almost like an invitation to travel.
Right.
Like my body's telling me, your human is here, feels very dense because you're over here, and do you want to go travel? Where do you want to go? You want to go to Venus? You want to go to Australia? Whatever. That's what I'm kind of getting. I don't know what to do with it yet. I don't know what to
It's
do with it.
coming. It's coming. It's a process. I think it sounds like the same exact process that everyone is going through. This is our evolution of the human species here, the ones that are supposed to be ahead of the game, a little bit ahead of the rest of the population, and we're learning as we're going along.
Yeah.
Everything you mentioned today is familiar to me. I can relate very much one way or another. Some is happening now. Some was happening a couple years ago. But yeah, we're just expanding and learning about ourselves, our new state of being here in this density.
Man, these I'm telling you, in these shows, man, they're like I
You're
mean,
getting
that's
a constant upgrade from the people that
it's
you're interacting with.
it's true. It's
Mhm.
like I mean, my crown is lit up right now, and I know it's not even what it's coming. I don't even know if it's the verbalization of anything. I don't even know if the words have anything to do with it. It's just I'm getting it up here,
Yeah.
and it's been
And
happening like show after show after show.
and that thing that you mentioned, that you feel like you're about to get it, right? Or it's like right there, but not quite.
Yeah,
That's an upgrade too. That's like
yeah,
something, that's an activation.
yeah,
Because people that you're interacting with, if they are in a higher frequency than yourself at the moment, they are bringing an activation to you from where they're at. They also when we're discussing these things that sound weird, the brain immediately lays tracks in there, and that very soon becomes normal versus
mhm,
weird. So
yeah,
when we have these conversations, we are sharing that energy, we're upgrading itself. So this is a grid of assistance to each other, or
yeah,
assistance to whoever needs it, to receive these upgrades. It's very simple.
yeah.
That's how human consciousness expands, or human consciousness shares.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm 100% sold on our biggest activations come from this type of thing. Just
From interaction. Yeah.
talking. Yeah, just talking about the experience. And and I'm fully aware even before I started doing these shows that we're constantly merging with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an infinite number of frequencies. Some things one's higher than the other and vice versa. So, but now it's to me, it's just accelerated because this show is just a copy of the collective, right?
Mhm.
I mean, it's just moving like boop, 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 like that, you know? You know what I mean? It used to be like the energy comes in, and like you said, it takes 2 weeks or it takes a few days, and now it's like you get hit with one today, one tomorrow, one the next day, and you've got these multi-dimensional processes going.
Yeah.
The humans processing multiple
Right.
times, right? Yeah.
Okay, so we're 6 minutes over time. Does that matter?
No, you got to go. Yeah,
No,
we got.
no, I don't.
No, we're okay. Yeah, you're precise.
Yeah, well,
No,
it's
we
just
can
right around
we
my
can
face.
we can go a few more. I mean, a few more minutes. Yeah, and I'd love to get together again next month if you want to.
Oh, we
You know.
actually scheduled for March 25th.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I don't
Yeah,
know anything.
we're scheduled
I all I
for the
do.
third one on
I'm
March 25th.
okay. Cool. Well,
Uh,
I'm doing good. I'm doing good if I post the night before the shows.
mhm.
See, I sometimes I can't even do that. I have to get up in the morning, and I have to type them all in. But
I
usually
got
I get
you.
them.
I got you.
That's what happened today. That's what
Yeah,
happened
I've been
today.
posting events. I will just
Mhm.
create an event and invite people, and then I will
Yeah,
post the link on the day off. That works for me. So I got a
yeah.
few interviews coming up. I've got a few workshops coming up. Sedona Yoga Festival is here. We have a whole light tribe
When
of yogi people. It's
when
this week.
is the? Oh, it's this week.
Yeah,
Is it? Is Suzanne part of that? Suzanne, what's her name? I forget.
Susan. Yeah, she's a part of it.
Suzanne Ross. Suzanne Ross. Yeah.
No, Susan Ross is a part of Cosmic Awakening
Oh,
Conference.
that's right.
Susie Byler is a part of the
Oh, Susie
uh,
Byler. I love Susie Byler, man.
yeah.
She's like, yeah. So she's there.
She's there. She's offering wonderful musical sound healing with her didgeridoo. We got Tao Porchin Lynch at that festival, who is 100-year-old yogi and a
Oh
dancer.
my God, are you serious?
And a
Whoa.
dancer and a passionate, beautiful woman. And last year she danced with a young Brazilian partner all over that stage at the age of 100. And she's teaching yoga classes. And
Oh
when
my
you're
God.
in her presence, it's like touching a saint. So that's the highlight,
Yeah.
or the keynote speaker at the yoga festival. And I feel
Man, I
honored
wish I
to be
could be
part of
there.
that.
I would love to cover that and broadcast it.
Well,
Like I did.
yeah, she's reachable. She's reachable through Facebook. I've written to her and she responded to me. So I think if you write to her, I'll send you her name and everything, so you can do that. I'm sure.
I'm hoping to get over there. Get over there either late this month or next month.
Oh, nice.
Sedona
Right.
area, Arizona. Yeah, yeah. And when I was there last year, I met a lady. I was covering several events, right? I was broadcasting the events, and I went to one, and I was sitting next to this lady. I don't know how old she was. She had to be 90. She had to be, and I noticed everybody was treating her with the utmost respect. Anyway, we ended up having a blast. She was a native.
Mm-hmm.
And very colorful, but that's what it was like when being around her. Just like you talk about soul code exchange. I mean, you just all you had to do was breathe the air she was breathing. You know what I mean? I mean, it was pretty incredible. So I'd love to interact with that lady for sure.
Yeah, I felt that it was like a presence of a saint, and I got to have a hug and eye contact with her. And it was literally like being touched by, I don't know, Mother Teresa. The energy is incredible. And yeah, she's around this year again. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm honored to be offering a workshop within the same event that she's speaking at as well.
Wow.
Then we got Sedona Cosmic Awakening. I also have a beautiful interview with Olenko's Kitchen. That's April 1st. The Alexandra is the name of the girl. She heard me on your podcast, and she's such an incredibly talented artist, and she's an incarnation of a famous 1920s actress, like the early Hollywood actress from the 1920s. An actual match, the incarnation. I found that match. And she is just such a creative soul, and she wrote a couple of books already. She creates edible art and all different forms of art, and I think her life is an art form in a way. And so we have an interview coming up on April 1st, the Fool's Day. I'm looking forward to that. She's a cosmic soul too, from the Cassiopeian collective. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Very cool.
So I wanted to mention that too.
So you're going to be busy. Yeah, put up all the links if you can remember. Put the links up in the comments.
I will do that.
You know,
okay.
Because I mean you've already So because I'm sure people will reach out. Camille Bumpus Halverson will come to Sedona for Cosmic Awakening. She must be in Sedona.
Camilla's here. Yeah.
I loved that place, and I can't wait to get back. I hope I'd prefer to go when Morgan gets back, but I don't know. I've had couple of people ask me to go over there and cover something. You know,
we would love to have you, and I would love to, when you're here, I would love to meet you in person too, and then see what we can make happen here while you're here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have a habit of creating events wherever I go. If there's not one already. So, and we got enough friends there. God, I was only there 6 weeks, but I could probably count 25 friends easy.
Yeah.
Maybe
it's a friendly place. Sedona is a friendly
it's a beautiful place. It really is. We got a lot of great friends there. Well, I look forward. I'm glad that we're going to be on the 25th because that'll be 4 days after the equinox. So who knows what it's going to look like then?
Oh, yeah, you probably can tell me more about the more weirdness happening, and I'll share with you too, because I'm feeling the buildup of processing certain levels and certain issues and certain states of being. I feel it already. It's already in there. And now we're going to have the yoga festival where I speak, and after that, rolling right into the equinox energy. I think that's going to be very powerful as far as processing things out and integrating new gifts and new states of being. So looking forward to that. I
think so too. Yeah. And I told Morgan, right. So I think she left on the 3rd and it was right around the first. And I woke up and I said, you know what? And I'm not usually like this. I said, something big is building up.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
it's not just about me or me and you. It's about something as big is really building up. And I really believe it's this. Well, the Ides of March is the 15th. She was putting in the comments that that's when all debts are released, and energetically, that's a huge opportunity. Then
I saw that.
St. Patrick's Day has some significance. It's the 17th, and then you have a full moon that's landing on the equinox. So come
Nice.
on, man, you can't
Yeah.
make this stuff up.
Right.
Olenko Alexandra Winters. Is that who she is?
Yes, that's the one we have an interview with on April 1st.
Yeah, she said I would love to interview Todd. Yes, absolutely. I would
All
love
right.
to be. I would love to be on your show. Absolutely. Okay. I look forward to seeing you on the 25th. Hopefully, I'll have one of my little gray friends next to me. We can incorporate him into this. I'm gonna get one of those guys to be like my sidekick, like Johnny Carson. Yeah, like Johnny Carson had Ed McMahon. You know, I'm gonna have a little gray here. No.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, the veil's lifted. You know, anything's possible. You take care.
All right, Paul.
See you on the 25th, and good luck with everything. Put your links down on the comments so people can find you.
I will do that. Thank you very much, Todd.